The suspense.
The suspense. Hey, again, a great way to start it. Welcome everybody to the Bonehawk Podcast. Shiro, every time, just hopping in there, man. Hopping in there.
oh wait, yeah, I got the notification. Hell
hey,
yeah!
All right, that means it worked. Yeah, as you guys may see, we are on YouTube this week, as opposed to Twitch. We just thought that we'd give it a shot because the Twitch didn't seem to get that many viewers. We got a couple nice hosts, which was nice, but we just wanted to test the different platforms and see if it's any different over here as opposed to over there. So yeah, we're here. Woo! I'm joined as usual by Shiro and Hater. What's going on, gentlemen?
Hello.
Yo, what's good?
Okay.
What's good?
Shoutouts to hashtag notification gang. Who's that? Oh, Shiro. Oh, you got me.
Oh, I had the ultimate notification.
Yeah, I guess you did. You got that inside info.
Right. I think that's a new Patreon tier. Super notification.
Super notification squad.
I don't know. You get to click a bigger bell.
I mail you a physical bell.
Oh jeez.
Quit giving me ideas, man.
Yeah, and then oh jeez.
Okay, so before. Yeah, there's a Bonehawk symbol inside the bell. Okay, before we get too into it, we're going to start a new thing. We noticed that a few viewers had some comments or just input or maybe things that we got wrong on the podcast last time. So starting from this podcast going forward, we're going to start addressing the comments at the start of the next podcast. So if there's anything about this podcast that you think that we got incorrect or that maybe we're misinformed on, or you just want to give a strong opinion opposed to us, maybe...
Like a counter opinion, right?
Right, exactly. We don't want to completely ignore those and just be like, no, we're the ones up here. You get no voice. So we're...
I also feel like I value all input. I try not to be biased and things like that.
Yeah.
I try to use all the information at my disposal, so that's just more information as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's another thing that I try and gather as much information as I can and then make an opinion on it. And if I'm wrong or missing a big piece, I want to know about it. So if you see anything in this podcast that you guys, that fits that kind of, description, feel free to post in the comments below, and then we'll go through those comments at the end of or at the start of the next podcast that we do, which will likely be after the next reveal, since it seems to just work out that way. And, I enjoy hanging out with my friends. So... what are you going to do? Sue me.
Okay.
So here comes the onslaught of misinformation.
Here, get ready for some misinformation. So I guess let's start with what was one of the biggest reveals this week, which was Cassie. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. I know, Shiro, you were excited for Cassie Cage.
I'm pretty excited. Yeah, I mean, I loved her a lot in MKX. Out of the Combat Kids, she's my favorite. Yeah, I mean, I played her since not day one. I originally tried picking up Katana, but that just didn't fucking work. I'm also a huge fan of her voice actress, Ashley Birch, or former voice actress, I guess I should say now. It definitely doesn't sound like her in MK11.
I don't like her voice at all.
Yes.
It's not the best.
It sounds like it has that little hint of like raspiness to it, like when she's like embellishing. She sounds like a cartoon character. She sounds like she belongs on Nickelodeon or something.
Yeah,
like a Rugrat.
I haven't gotten confirmation on it because IMDb hasn't really updated it very well, but I've been hearing or reading people saying that it's the voice actress for Futaba from Persona 5, which I love that character in Persona 5, but her delivery as Cassie, there's just something very off about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah. The voice doesn't seem to match the character, in my opinion. I don't know if that makes much sense.
Yeah,
but like,
no, the voice is the weakest link. The voice is what is keeping the picture from being complete. It's like what's off. You're sensing something's off, and it's the voice. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like it's like I love the like the banter that she has. I love the intros. I love the actual dialogue, but just the voice.
The dialogue's great.
The voice just kind of ruins it for me. So I don't.
Yeah.
Only a moment. She's just it's certain inflections. Sometimes I don't notice, but when I notice, I'm like, ugh.
Right. Yeah, it's more prevalent in some than others, right?
It's
like,
yeah.
A lot of her in game banter and stuff like that, I just find like way too cringy. Like there's like a level of cringe that I can deal with, but like I don't know if it's just like the way that it's delivered or whatnot. But it just it's just I don't know. It's just maybe I can't stand it.
The very first thing I noticed is that we saw her a little bit in that behind the scenes footage from the reveal event.
Yeah.
And no one knew she had a fucking ponytail. It was hidden. So that was like the first thing I feel like everybody noticed.
I mean, was it hidden? I don't even think it existed at that point.
That's true. Yeah. One of those two things. We have feelings about the ponytail before we start talking about gameplay and stuff. Just cover her design.
Well, I mean like her overall design was good. The ponytail was actually a nice little addition, I thought. I liked it a little bit better than her main hairstyle.
The undercut?
Yeah, I didn't really care for that as much. But
I'm hoping they'll have the undercut in as like a customizable option.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure there'll be some way to make like classic MKX Cassie with like her, leather jumpsuit or whatever it was.
Yeah, that gear looks cool. Her default, I think overall she looks good. Like I have a few nitpicks about like her default look and stuff like that, and I feel like if they set out to kind of duplicate that charm that she had in MKX, like carry that character over, even though they changed the voice actress, but really that theme was successful for them, right? That was definitely not on the table to be changed for her redesign. Like, keep that intact. And they did a good job at that. Like, she's still a fucking smartass. She makes me laugh for no reason.
Yeah,
I like the gun kata moves that they gave her.
Oh, she does some sick stuff with her guns.
It's like some Red Hood. It reminds me of Red Hood. I heard somebody else mention that too.
The edgelord.
So hopefully she doesn't play as stupidly as Red Hood.
Yeah, fuck that character. I hated
I know Sidelock's excited for her.
Yeah.
I just found it funny how we were like making fun of Sidelock saying that he mains any character that could order a pumpkin spice latte. And then, one of the intros, she comes in with a drink, and I was like, "Oh shit!
Right.
I bet that's pumpkin spice."
It's actually kind of funny because like a lot of people, at least the active people in the Supergirl Discord, all seem to be pretty excited for Cassie Cage. So apparently we have a type, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah, everyone does. What do you think about the addition of her drone? Do you think they'll use the drone in the story? Should we talk about that now? Or should we wait?
Dude, we should. It's like fucking Star Wars. It's like Poe Dameron and BB-8 or something.
Right? Yeah.
Is it gonna have like a personality? Yeah. Is it gonna be kick-ass? Is it gonna be wicked? Is it gonna break some of the tension, like used for comic relief or whatever? But is it gonna be like a character in the game?
Part of me kind of hopes it'll talk.
Yeah, have like a personality of its own, or maybe
or at least kind of like BB-8, like it beeps and boops, but she knows what it's saying.
Yeah, totally. It like saves the day on its own somehow.
She speaks droid like it's the Star Wars universe or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Star Wars in my Mortal Kombat, yes, please.
So it looks like it's a piece of her gear that can be accessorized, can be changed. So it's like no matter what your variation is, it's part of her core set.
Yeah.
Some of the abilities give it the ability to do other things, but it's always going to be there in some fashion because it's like part of her throws and stuff too. Like they really incorporated it into her design.
Yeah, pretty heavily. It's quite impressive actually. I never would have thought, especially of all characters, for her to have something like that. It's kind of neat. And I like the customization of it. And some of them looks like that futuristic one that they did on the stream. Like that looked fucking cool.
It does. Like they incorporated it. Like they.
Or like you can make the force field and shit like that.
Yeah, it fits into her design like well. Like you always have a default way to use it. Like I said, like it's even part of her throws, right? The one throw kind of like goes to the end of the screen, comes back and hits you in the nuts.
Isn't there a move where she uses her shadow kick, where she uses the drone to fly up to you?
That's like a cyborg grapple.
Yeah, kind of neat though.
It's not her kick. Yeah, it looks like the same input too.
Nice.
From what I was reading today, like a down and then a forward up. What them anime fellas would call the number 9.
Haha, the number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9.
So her gameplay. What did you think of? Like they were saying, a lot of the weapons return. They're using those more than usual, which I see that she has that same kind of low gunshot thing she does in MKX.
Yeah, I love the gun kata shit because it's like she's a fucking anime character now.
It looks like a combo starter when it's amplified. She gets a little bit of a launch on that, and it's a low, but everything else, like they made a point to say that she doesn't have any overhead starter. So it sounds like you're going to be blocking low a lot against her, like in general, and be looking out for like a short hop overhead. That little grapple move, it looks like she recovers really fast from that, like from what they were showing. So she could maybe use that for some mind games and come in with a really quick jump in. Covers a lot of distance, essentially.
I'm sure they've covered this, but for whatever reason, I can't remember. Is there a different input for the short hop?
Yeah, you just tap up. Tapping up is a short hop, holding up is a full jump.
Oh, so it's gonna be kind of like KOF. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I always had trouble doing that in Soul Calibur, like jumping, just like a little hop.
Yeah, you just kind of have to like tap it so you don't end up like 8-way running.
Right.
Oh snaps! We're gonna have execution, boys.
Oh, heaven forbid! Mortal Kombat is execution.
I really like that first variation they showed that had the low gunshot. Did it have the air gun shot?
Yeah, I think it did.
And there was another where she like flipped over you with it.
Remember, kids, Steve Brownback said if you use it in a tournament, you're gonna fucking.
He guaranteed you 25% each time.
Yeah, so
I heard him.
Hold him to that. If you don't fucking get your 20% damage, fucking sue his ass. No, I'm just kidding.
She's also got a nut kick instead of a nut punch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Doing the nut variations.
Yeah, and then she's got like the one with the robot. Like she finds all sorts of creative ways to bust your nuts.
She does. She gets a crushing.
Seems like a pretty nutty character, if you ask me.
They gave her that same little snippet from the X-ray with the little testicle burst.
Yeah, I saw that.
For the crushing blow.
That's still hard to watch, but.
She loves punching people in the bathing suit area.
In the bathing suit area. Okay. Was there anything else about Cassie we didn't cover? Gameplay, appearance?
Cover the voice. Cover the voice. Okay, so this doesn't have to do with Jacqui or with Cassie, but because I watched so many videos with her voice lines in it, I am gonna say, I know we've got about a month left. I really hope that NRS adds some more intro animations, because right now it looks like they all just have the same thing. Yeah. They just say different lines. So this is a huge gripe I have about fighting games, because fighting games get very repetitive. You're sitting there on ranked for hours, playing multiple people. You go to a tournament, you're doing the same shit. And if you're just seeing the same exact intros and outros, it gets boring for me. So I'm hoping that they're going to add more animations. It kind of looks like they probably are, because I see the facial the facial expressions change. So I'm hoping they'll probably find better animations for their body to kind of fit that. So that's just a minor gripe of mine. Again, we got like a month. They'll probably fix it, but I'm just saying. I hope that's going to be a thing that they work on.
I could see it going either way, because Injustice and MKX, and this seems to be like you have a different, whether you're player 1 or player 2, whether you talk first or you talk second, affects those sorts of things as far as the dialogue. And then the animation parts of those you can actually change, you can customize. So people are going to choose their favorite ones that you'll just see every single time. But I think they're also setting themselves up to add more later. Per people, what you were just talking about.
Because MKX, they had 2 different ones per character, right? Because there was one Quan Chi where he'd come in on the Demon Goat, and there's one where he would just come with Moloch's head.
Right.
Yeah. So, I know it was
a bit, but I got what you're saying though. Overall.
In Injustice, didn't they have 2 different ones? I know Supergirl had the one where she just kind of fly in, and then she also had the one where she would be in in civvies, and then,
maybe it was 2 each and not 1 each.
Yeah.
For each side. But it does get repetitive, and it's actually gotten better. That's better than it was MK9, where they only had 1 period, and they just did the same thing every time. They had exactly 1 line. So as many games as you played.
Jade had the stripper pole dance, so like I'm fine with that. But yeah, that is a huge pet peeve of mine. Like, because I know that's one thing that sticks out for me in Killer Instinct a lot. And the thing is, like, sometimes I can see them do the same pose, and I'm like, all right, but they'll sometimes have different lines. But when it's the same pose and the same line, pretty sure they won't do that with MKX. I think they're just doing like a victory pose, but
right.
I don't know. I just want to see a few more animations.
With the victory pose, you also have brutalities thrown in there as well, so that's kind of a thing.
True. Then of course the fatalities are going to have different ones too.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, you're right.
Yeah, G-Shiro. G-Shiro.
What?
You want the farm? You want the farm, Shiro?
Yes.
All right. Well, so that's Cassie. So let's talk a little bit about Kano. He
pees.
He does pee. That caught me totally off guard. I was not ready for that.
I have Gur actually predicted that. Like on March the 4th, he made mention of that.
Really?
And then I saw Decay say that day that was an idea he had pitched in the NRS offices when he's working.
Hey, can you just make like Kano piss?
No, like during those meetings where they're like brainstorming like ideas of what to do with character intros and dialogues and things like that, and he had suggested that Kano piss in some fashion, just like really disrespectful, like a guy that just does, whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
That'll be his secret brutality.
And Romanova was saying the Cassie intro where she comes in drinking a coffee was something that she had pitched as well, and then another developer added on. It's like, yeah, and they could spell her name wrong, and that's totally what they did. Like these are just ideas. These are just ideas, random ideas in a room, months and months and months ago, maybe even years ago. Who even knows how long ago that was?
Cool.
But I think that's cool.
I need to get in on that so I can be like, hey, can you give Jade more stripper pole animations?
Yeah, totally. She needs more. Can she do the Superman on that shit?
Superman, that pole.
Superman, that
How
pole.
about you?
Oh boy.
Okay. Anyways, we're getting off topic of Kano. Let's.
Kano.
Do we have any comments on his voice actor? Because I know we started with Cassie
Yes.
Yeah.
I had the exact same sentiments as I
He
do
just
Cassie.
sounds like a fake Aussie.
The voice just doesn't really fit. I like his. I was just expecting the more gritty voice from MKX, and this is so different from that. It was like jarring to me. Like it might be growing on me a little bit now that I'm kind of getting used to it, but it was. I feel like that's a big change.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't sound like as like, gritty. I guess like I don't know. It's more kind of like a passive aggressive kind of voice now. Like
should have just gotten back the guy who was in the film.
He's like Boomerang from the Suicide Squad to me.
Oh man,
something like that.
Stuff you the whole time.
The guy that does voice acting in the film's dead. That's
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the whole reason that Kano has that Australian accent is because of that original actor in Mortal Kombat 1.
Right, because his original backstory is like from the UK or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but
I can't remember what it was either. But it wasn't Australian, and they did that after that movie.
Yeah, because that guy just did such a great. That was probably one of the only good things about that movie was that guy's portrayal of Kano. Like it was on point. Like that's what Kano should have been, and that's how they kind of honored him after he died, was making Kano permanently have that accent. So
I didn't know the actor died.
Yeah, I wish I knew his name. I'll search it up.
I was like, I got IMDb pulled up right now, actually.
Oh, there you go. You're way quicker than me. Yeah.
But he looks cool. They described him as a high risk character. Looks like he's going to want to be really close, but he's got those knives to zone. Some interesting abilities.
I always get really nervous when they say X is a mix-up character, and I'm just like,
right. I'm like already thinking. I'm already dreading the matchup.
Yeah, that's what I first thought.
I kind of want to talk about.
Yeah, that's what my first thought was like.
He passed away in 2003. Trevor Goddard.
Oh yes, young Goddard, right? I remember.
He was in Pirates.
That's cool. Didn't know that.
Now you know. Sorry.
They were saying that his mix-ups were going to be unsafe, which is kind of nice. It's not like MKX where run up and do a mix-up into plus frames and do another mix-up. Shouts to Quan Chi.
Shout outs to Quan Chi.
But, yeah, so other than that, I loved his special moves. Like some of the ability moves they had, like the Molotov, like my brain was going crazy with like ideas on how to use that, especially in tandem with the command grab.
Oh, and he's got that magnet that makes his projectiles, if they pass through it, it turns them into a mid from a high, so you're forced to do something about them. You can't just duck underneath them.
That's such an original idea. I never would have thought.
And you can't jump or something, they were saying.
Yeah, same kind of deal.
And then they mentioned a setup with both that cocktail and the magnet while you have them in the corner. And he's he's going to have like 50-50s or something. He's got mix.
Yeah, he does. And he has command grabs too, apparently.
It's going to be scary. So. Like, I want to be playing like in the mid-range. It's probably like where I'm going to feel the most comfortable with the kind of characters that I want to play in this game. And I feel like that back three or whatever they showed off, that super fast advancing mid, I don't think it was safe. But, dude, if he reads, gets a whiff punish or something on counter hit, that turns into his crushing blow. He only gets it once, but I think that's
pretty powerful.
NRS is trying to make people learn the game whether they want to or not. They've got like the psychology, I think, behind crushing blows. Like, this is what you do to like whiff punish somebody. Even if you don't know that that's what's happening, the game's telling you, yes, you're benefiting from this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is good. Keep using it in this way, even if you don't know what you're doing. Like, whatever instincts you're tapping into, they're trying to help people, level up. Like Sub-Zero's slide, when amplified 3 times, it turns into like a big damage cash out. Like, this is your damage ender.
Yeah.
When you just take somebody's life bar, this is how you should be ending your combos if you're trying to cash out on damage. And if you keep doing that, then you're going to get a nice damage bonus whenever you want to, because you can choose when to do your crushing blow. So you can just keep it in the chamber, and they have to be scared of that. If they know the matchup and they know that you still have that, and you know that they know that, I think there's going to be some cool mind games.
I agree, man. I actually didn't even think like that, but they're totally changing the game and encouraging more competitive play, even with just that feature alone. So look at that, NRS changing the game, man. Changing the game.
They're trying to bridge that gap. They've got a very large casual fan base and people that take it very seriously.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that because like Soul Calibur has similar things with their moves, but their fan base isn't as casual as Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's like got a huge casual fan base, so having something like that to really encourage them to step it up, or just like unconsciously get better. It's cool, man.
Yeah. Sometime in week 1 of Mortal Kombat's release, Kano's back 3 is going to make me just turn off my PlayStation and walk away. It's going to get me just one too many times. Like, that's going to be a problem matchup for me. I already know it, just from my personality and how I like to play.
Just love it, dog. Just love it. Just love it.
Just laugh, man. Just laugh.
Just love it, though.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, he pees on you. What about his fatality? Oh, we didn't talk about Cassie's fatalities either.
Right,
oh, man. Okay, which is the one... I think it's actually her... I think it's actually her fatal blow, but when she does that fucking, like, Degeneration X kind of thing, it, like, shoots your kneecaps, I fucking love it!
Yeah.
I love it!
That's her fatal blow.
That was pretty funny. Take
her bullets glow green. That's cool. I wonder if that's just for effect. Like, using that instead of white. Just
it looks like she's using that green energy shit on it, so that's kind of neat.
That's also a crushing blow for her regular one. She holds it, she fully charges it. It's a big green bullet.
Noise.
Big green bullet.
But her fatalities, so... Oh.
There's one where, like, she kicks your skeleton out.
Dude.
Oh, man, to your crotch. That's hilarious.
I taught to dink that night. I laughed so hard. I don't even know why. I think it's so stupid, but it makes me laugh. Like, what could be more straightforward than just running up to somebody and kicking them in the groin, like, so hard that they split in half vertically and their skeleton comes popping out? Like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Dude. But it made me laugh. Like, that was pure instinct. I have to like it. but I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb, but my body and my mind disagree.
So I was thinking...
Is your mind telling you no?
My mind is like as dumb as shit. It's like phoned in, but I think it's hilarious. I don't know why.
I was thinking about when she runs up to you in the first, and she's shooting her bullets at you. I'm wondering if she's like shooting up you like
a zipper.
From bottom to top, and then she finishes you with the kick.
I kind of thought that too.
Yeah.
It does look like she's got very tight little area though. Like first couple times I watched it just looked like she was like shooting you in the stomach. But that's a good theory. That would help. That would help explain the splitting a little bit more.
The scientific background of fatalities,
dude.
Yeah, let's see science of Mortal Kombat.
I was gonna say we should put that on an episode.
I haven't even watched it at all, but I've seen that guy's videos before. But
he used to be on Nerdist or something, I think.
Yeah, I think it is a Nerdist.
Real quick, I don't know the validity of this. This is really something that just happened now, but someone's saying in the chat that we just got news that Sonya dies in the first chapter.
Is it actual news? I've been hearing like it's theories because there's a line that when she I think it's Raiden, and she says something like "following you has cost my mother" or something like that.
That's really good. I think that's really good to talk about when we get to the story part.
Okay, well let's skip that for now then. Anything else we want to talk about regarding Kano?
Well, no, now because I want to talk about the story.
I guess
this is why we're all here. This is what I want to talk about for sure, more than anything.
All right, so let's talk about the story trailer. First thing I want to bring up, as I'm slowly clicking away to get it on the screen right now, is Jacqui Briggs. Woo! She was confirmed. Yay!
Yeah, Jacqui looks pretty dope.
They did a huge overhaul on her. I really like what they've done with her.
Yeah, like what I was just talking about, like what they kept and what they changed for like Cassie's redesign and Kano's redesign, and then apply that same principle to what they did to Jacqui. Like, there's nothing that they didn't change about her, just about.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see, like, with all the gear and stuff, like with those little handgun stuff that she has. Like, there's got to be some cool stuff they can come up with that gameplay wise. I mean, we saw like little snippets of it in the story, but outside of that, I don't know. Her design's cool. I'm assuming that'll probably be the next character they go over in the combat cast, but
maybe, yeah. Her gear looks a little minimal to me. I'm hoping. I was reading like devs talking about how they're going to have a lot of gear options for her. I think they're out there like casually doing damage control because a lot of people have concerns about it, so they're just kind of happen to be musing about it.
Yeah.
Like, I love the outfit we saw, even though everyone was like, yeah, I mean, it was okay. Some people hate it. I didn't mind it, but I didn't think it was anything awesome.
Well, a lot of the review stuff we're seeing are just going to be bare bones, right? And then you can customize it. And that's
another thing that we have to like keep in mind too. It's like, but
default's very basic, very straightforward.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
man, if they give her something like that sci-fi outfit they gave Cassie, she could look fucking awesome with those weapons, those like arm cannons and stuff, blowing off demon heads and shit.
Damn, I'm already excited. So I guess going from that, because there's not much more to talk about Jack. We don't have an official reveal yet, just a render. She looks good.
Yeah.
That's about all we can talk about. So, meme review. Let's get into story review.
Story
review. Where do we even want to start? Like, oh my god, I don't even know where to start with this.
Start at the beginning.
There's a lot.
Wait.
So much going on in that story trailer.
We can address the Sonya thing right now, which will lead into kind of like probably what we think is actually happening, the actual plot of the story.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I do want to say real quick, if Sonya dies in chapter 1, I personally will find it so hilarious considering like my gripes with her voice acting for Sonya. Sorry, we can't afford to pay you for like doing more of the story, so we're gonna kill your character in chapter 1.
No, okay.
Oh man, I never even thought of that. That is hilarious.
No. Because we saw scenes later on when Kano was shooting at them and stuff, and they're hiding behind the truck, and that was like a super young Sonya. So I would not be surprised at all if they made that like part of like Cassie's motivations and the Special Forces motivations, like the severity of like what's happening, right? Like now they're personally invested because Cassie's mom is dead. Johnny's ex-wife is dead. We get a younger version of her, like with the younger versions of other characters, so she's still going to have a presence. It's just not going to be our present-day one.
Yeah, so they bring her forth and be like, okay, so the last Sonya kind of sucked anyways, so you're just going
to bring back Sonya from MK9, and they bring the voice actress, too!
Johnny's like, oh, my wife gets shaved 20 years off my wife? Hello.
Oh, man.
Fuck. Yeah, okay.
Well, then she's like disgusted with Johnny, right? So what happens, because we get past Johnny as well.
Yeah.
So...
Who's very upset because he hasn't seen any jetpacks.
Dude, that shit makes me laugh.
That was a great line.
It does.
I love that.
Dude, I've watched the story trailer so many times, and it still, like, makes me laugh. I think it's still funny. That's how good I think that line is.
Yeah, I agree. It's, leave it to Johnny Cage, though. I mean... I'm excited to see the banter between the two Johnny Cages. That's just, it's just something I never.
He looks so annoyed with himself.
Yeah, and he would be too. Totally.
Even he can't handle himself.
And as predicted, we predicted weeks ago on a previous podcast, he would say something super fucking creepy to Cassie.
Yeah,
we already know what that line
is. And behold.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where he comes out, he says, what's cooking good looking? And she goes, ooh, what? Ooh, gross. And he's like, oh, that's not what I meant, or something like that.
Yeah.
You think that, like, when he first sees her in story mode, that he knows that's his daughter? From the future? I mean, if you met, like, some hot chick and, like, she was actually your daughter from the future, like, would you know?
They will definitely cash in on that sort of, like, unique moment.
Yeah. And he'll be like, hey, what's up, sexy? And she'll be like, oh, Dad?
There will be cringe.
Oh, totally. Totally, man. Oh. Okay, so main story idea, like, what are we gathering as, like, the main storyline from this trailer?
So, after watching it, and I watched some other people kind of like break it down and stuff like that, just to try to see what everyone else was like theorizing, or because everyone I feel like notices some other like detail or something like that. So sounds like she's been Kronika. She calls herself Kronika. I hear other people call her Kronika, like even like developers and no, like even in the game and stuff, it's not consistent at all. But I'm gonna just say Kronika because that's how she pronounced it, I guess.
Okay.
So. She's been observing, and everything's actually part of her like master plan. She's the keeper of time. That's how she introduces herself to Liu Kang and Katana, like pretty early on in the trailer. So she was forced to intervene at the point that Dark Raiden went too far, or the time that he became Dark Raiden, right? The torture and decapitation of Shinnok, basically taking Shinnok out of the equation. Is where she was forced to intervene. Like that was too much. That broke the system too much.
We had to discuss this before the podcast, so just so you guys know, we're gonna report to the older Raiden's Dark Raiden, and then the younger previous Raiden, I think, as just Raiden. Correct? That's what we decided on, right? Just so nobody gets confused if we. Okay. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
So that's where she interjects herself. Invokes herself into the storyline, but she's got to like come up with a plan or something like that, like on the spot, or maybe she prepared for it, but she couldn't put it into motion until like this moment. It's like a contingency plan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So then you see her start to recruit characters from the past. Like we see Scarlet, we see Aaron Black, Baraka, Kano, Shao Kahn's revealed. And then she starts, hold on, I wrote down like what she said there, because I think that's like, there's so much more than what's on the surface. I feel like they had like really deliberate camera pairings with certain lines and things like that. So like this point she's talking about let's see. Yeah, I want Ionless to disdain the course of history. So she's talking to characters that obviously Shao Kahn's dead. Jade, Liu Kang, and Kung Lao all get kind of like revealed in sequence. Like, and they're all revenants, right? So bringing back human versions of them. But like with some villains and stuff too, right? Kano, Baraka, Aaron Black, and Scarlet.
Aaron Black didn't die in MKX though, did he?
No. I don't think so. I think she's just bringing back younger versions of people. Like she needs his skills or something.
Right.
Same with Scarlet. We don't know if she was like dead or not, but the other ones that they kind of revealed one after another, because it kind of cuts away to her talking in that what looks to be like Devore's lair or something for a second, then goes back to the Coliseum and then reveals all the kind of like revenants, and then Raiden comes out. Blue Lightning Raiden. A Raiden from the past, like before he fucked all this up.
Right.
Yeah.
So people that she saw that she could reason with to recruit to start building her army, and then it cuts to like Shao Kahn and Devora's lair with Devora and she's. Yep.
Supposed
Black.
Frost.
Aaron Black is in there, and then on Kronika's side, she's got Geras behind her, and then a mystery cloaked figure.
Ooh, which I'm gonna show a screenshot of that on the stream, because I actually was trying to find it in my Shoe Weekly Link video, but I could not find it. Bam. So a lot of people were saying that they thought that this character was Frost because you can kind of see the mask.
Yeah.
Right.
Here we have a video or a picture of the front of the cloaked figure. You can kind of see like the hands a little bit, and they have like some blue going on in there in the robes. And what kind of on like her left side seems to look a little bit like maybe like I don't know, like some Frost. Like
what if it's Cyber Frost?
Cyber.
So
you think
I've heard theories before this even like happened. I don't know how people got to that conclusion, but that would be so weird if she was actually Cyber Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be weird. Like, mind you,
Well, I remember hearing like months ago, before we knew anything about her even being in this game, like even before MK11 was even announced, people were talking about a cyberized version of Frost.
It makes sense in the storyline though, because the Lin Kuei are the ones that mess around with the cybernetics, right?
It's the Lin Kuei, but she looks aligned with Kronika, and what she is wearing is definitely in theme with that team, right? She's definitely Team Kronika. It's expressed visually.
Yeah.
The color palette, the style, and she's like by her side.
Right.
So who knows? Like I think Lin Kuei is like a thing of the past, and she's aligned to get whether it's her thirst for power or however they're gonna write her this time. She sides with the side that she thinks will win, and Kronika sees something unique in her. Like I don't think she would just go recruit no scrub. You know what I mean? And that's all we've kind of known her as, like that kind of like hothead, really arrogant, thinks she knows better, fucked up the Tea Party at MKX.
Fucked up the Tea Party.
Yeah, like, this is not that Frost.
You brought the wrong scones!
Dude, it's like when somebody, like, joins a cult or something like that, and then all of a sudden their personality changes, they're, like, eerily sedated, like, just really, like, docile, but, like, in a way that you feel like they're plotting your murder.
Totally, man. I can relate.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
No shit, right?
So I don't know. That's one theory. Some people are saying that she's like that Cetrion or whatever, but I don't think so because I have.
Well, see, I think Cetrion might be somebody else later in the story.
Yeah, weren't there theories that was going to be one of the Elder Gods or some shit like that?
Yeah, sure. Oh, you're jumping ahead.
Oh, damn it.
That's all good.
That's all whatever.
Right. Okay, so this is what's kind of confusing me is like, who is supposed to be the good guys here? Like, I'm assuming Cassie and Jacqui, but I haven't really seen clearly who the special forces have aligned themselves with, unless it's with like Liu Kang and Kung Lao, who are like inherently good,
it's going
but
to
they're
be...
also brought back by Kronika, right? So it's like,
they're brought back by Kronika, but they must not like agree with her plan, and they splinter off or somehow end up working with the special forces.
That makes sense, because
that one makes sense for Raiden and Dark Raiden.
How they chose the wrong path again, or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's that line from the prologue. It wasn't in this trailer, but it was in the prologue. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Where she tells Liu Kang that once again you have chosen the wrong destiny or whatever.
Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot about that, actually.
It's all coming together.
Yeah, definitely.
MK Epiphany.
So yeah, because we see, I think it's in the prologue or in one of the early trailers where a young Liu Kang and Kung Lao are almost hit by a scorpion spear, and I think they might show that again in the story trailer.
They did, yeah.
So scorpion, and then there's a slight moment where I think it's Hanzo versus Scorpion in one point in the trailer.
Yep.
Yeah. Find that screen.
Yeah, it's like Revenant Scorpion versus Hanzo
Hasashi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's interesting that he brings Hanzo back. I still have no sign of my poor Quan Chi, which sucks, but whatever.
Who?
Oh, fuck off. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see which characters go on which sides. I'm assuming Aaron Black is going to be on Shao Kahn's side. Shao Kahn seems to be the big baddie, which is really interesting given he's the pre-order DLC character.
Right. So that's another really good point.
Weren't there scenes where he was like with like firing off with a bunch of other like characters with guns? So that kind of made me think that he was like tagging around with like the Spec Force people.
I don't think so. No, he was in Devorah's cave, and you're talking about Kotal Khan.
No, I'm gonna play the trailer back again.
Okay.
On my end, y'all can keep going. If I find something, I'll snip it and then send it to y'all.
There was a scene.
Or something like that.
There was a scene with Raiden like electrocuting Shao Kahn, and that looked to be in like the Coliseum where they are all like initially summoned. Mm-hmm. So I bet like right away, like she brings them, and maybe she does that intentionally, right? So which faction's stronger? Like,
so my buddy Dante Demons is a Kenshi main, and he found this somehow this little screenshot of Kenshi in the Coliseum. I put it up on the show here, so I mean it's kind of hard to make out, but
I saw somebody say that it looked like Kenshi.
Yeah.
It's way too small and blurry.
It's hard to say. It does look like he's wearing his traditional red bandana. It actually kind of from a distance looks like his Deadly Alliance outfit, which would make sense with the whole time.
Are you sure your brain's not just seeing what it wants to see?
That could be very... I really would be much happier if Kenshi had no part in the story. I just find him boring as a character, but it's just one of those things where, yeah, maybe it's just some dude with a bandana. Who knows, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, never mind. Okay. Yeah. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
It's okay. I forgive you.
I thought I was wrong.
That means a lot to me.
Right.
One thing that I like about this...
He's just hanging out with people that look like they were like rejects from The Walking Dead.
Okay, so we can probably just jump up to where... So at some point, Raiden goes to plead to the Elder Gods, right? Like, Kronika's about to seriously fuck some shit up here, and we are like way outnumbered. Like, this is not something... I think this is like a last resort. This is like his Hail Mary is to go try to like plead to them. And that's when that one Elder God responds and says that you need to get to Kronika's keep, acquire some sort of key to take control of her hourglass. The hourglass is... Whoever controls that is in control of what happens, right? So Kronika doesn't want that to happen, and that's what that drives the plot in that direction. Now, I saw that most of what we saw and all that voiceover is from like chapter 1. We're like the very, very, very beginning. This kind of like, this is the very, like the tip of the iceberg to get you start thinking about what happens next. So there'll be lots that have happened that we haven't even gotten a hint of yet, I don't think.
Yeah,
Plus, we saw no Noob and no Sub-Zero. Maybe they're off doing something together later in the story.
Yeah, you think they like...
We didn't see any Sub-Zero in this story trailer. I think he was the only revealed character that wasn't there.
He's just getting no love this go around. I mean, usually he's even getting killed in the first trailer, but even that, he didn't even show up this time. Like,
right?
I don't know. They're doing him dirty for some reason. Maybe he has just like some super big plot to the storyline, and that's why they're just like kind of making you forget.
Like he'll have a big part later or something. This is just kind of like, I feel like this was kind of catching you up to like current events.
Right.
Obviously, Scorpion has some sort. I feel like Scorpion's like a free agent.
Yeah, I mean, now that Quan Chi's dead, he'd been revived, and he was like the leader of his clan for a bit. So, I
wonder what his motivations are, or if they're different.
I don't know. That's a good question. Hard to
We
say.
saw the monks, the Shaolin monks that were hanging there, and then all the green mist, like they were having their souls stolen, or there was a soul NATO or something like that nearby.
Right. So that might allude to Shang Tsung in some way, you think? Cause
it could. Some people are saying
does.
that's the kind of power you'd need to bring Shao Kahn back, but I think Shao Kahn came back at that time that Kronika pulled everybody in, like with all those sand tornadoes that look like probably how she was porting them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know, because, I mean, Shang Tsung was technically dead, because Mind you, everybody was. So, like, how could they bring them back with Shang Tsung's power? Well, I don't know. The whole time travel thing makes it all convoluted, because then it could have gone back in time.
Yeah.
To when Shang was alive.
Get ready for convoluted shit for this game.
Full of plot.
I expect a lot of, like, tropes about free will and being in control of your own destiny. And you can't tell me I make my own future. There's going to be cheesy shit like that, I bet you anything.
Those kind of themes in a story involving time travel.
I know. I'm bracing myself for it, because I don't think that it's necessarily clever. Like,
yeah. It's been done.
Yeah. I would just like it to be a different, but it's inevitable.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm more curious. I want to see what Noob is doing in the story, because I don't know. He's a very particular character to bring back, storyline wise. Obviously, people want Noob back, but like storyline wise, I mean,
how are they gonna fit him in? Because he's been missing in action.
Yeah.
How are they gonna explain Jade? What's Jade been doing? Because she's paired up with Cabal. It looks like at the start of the story.
Well, that's even more. I don't know, because like there's evil Liu Kang and Katana. So are they like leading the way against like good Liu Kang and Kung Lao? And like, is there a good Katana?
So we first see them like the very beginning, how the whole story trailer opens is their like castle, their like keep, and you can see the sand like regenerating it, and then you hear Kronika start to talk, and then like later in the trailer you see Special Forces blowing it up. So it sounds like we're not looking at all of those scenes chronologically; they're kind of like jumping all over. So I bet Special Forces were successful with blowing it up. Then it looks like Katana and Liu Kang are just like standing off on like a high vantage point, like just watching it rebuild from stand. Like, and then you hear her start to talk, and they like turn like, "What the fuck?" Like, and that's her introduction. That's how she recruits them, because when she's talking to, they seem to be present, like already aligned with her, like at every such. That's phase one, is to recruit them. And it's probably not easy to convince them that they need the help, and that her motivation is to undo what Raiden did with Shinnok.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they, of course, want Shinnok back, right?
Yeah, that was their whole plan or whatever. Or
right.
Quan Chi's plan was anyways.
Then it goes on to summoning the other ones, the Aaron Black, the Kano batch. And then it was recruiting the ones, just existing ones probably. That's where we saw Devora. We saw the Collector with Shao Kahn, standing next to Shao Kahn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They seem to be affiliated.
He was in the comics, I think. Somebody posted a thing of him in the comics. So they called him the Competitor, I think, with a K. Shouts to Competitor.
Shouts
he just changes his name to whatever has a hard K sound. And he can...
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, he kind of has like the apish, really large upper lip, the same way that like some of the Shokin have, and so people were kind of speculating that, but I don't think that's it, because his arms, we can see 4 arms, but they're all 4 coming from his shoulders. It's not like cascaded the way that Shokins are, like where one's above the other.
And the top
These
two
look like...
The top two look like maybe like reptile or something like that. Like they have like
they look like spider. He looks really arachnid to me. They look like spider legs, like a spider humanoid sort of like characteristic.
Is that why they call him the Collector? Because he's collecting all these different attributes from like maybe opponents that he defeats or something. That's kind of cool.
He's just a custom character.
Yeah, just put an arm in like Mr. Potato.
I'm here to remind people that Armageddon existed as a game.
That Shang Tsung reincarnated.
Yeah, I bet. There you go. That could be it. Instead of stealing souls, he steals like arms and shit.
I don't really believe that. I just pulled that out of my ass. But if it's like something like that, like he's a soul collector, and this is just the version of Shang Tsung that they're giving us, I hope it's separate from that.
Right. No, I don't know. The leaks were saying that Shang Tsung's an unlockable character. I'm curious how they're going to even have unlockable characters in this game. Like, is it just complete the story mode? Yay, good job. Or is it like maybe like you have to go through and get a certain number of things in the
It's a certain choice in the story. You take a certain path, so it makes you go through the story more than once or something.
See,
kind of how Injustice had the 2 different endings.
That would make sense, because if there's 2 different endings and there's 2 quote unquote unlockable characters, you get 1 for each ending. Makes
maybe.
Sense. And that's replayability too. Fucking sucks for the TOs. Play through story mode twice.
Right.
But I'm sure
they should do something. Give TOs like some sort of, especially for official circuit events, right?
No, for sure.
Like at Evo and stuff like that, they should be giving them a version of the game, like on those PS4s, like a patch or something that just unlocks all that shit.
I'm with you, man. I agree.
For sure.
People will abuse it or something.
Someone will find a way. Someone always does find a way. There was
to fuck it up for everybody else.
Fuck it up for. One thing the NRS has always been really good at that I've always respected them for was microtransactions. They haven't really. They're there, but I mean, you really don't need them for much.
Yeah, they're usually for very small things. Like, what was it in MKX? It was for the easy fatality, and then it was the source crystals and Injustice to.
Yeah, I mean, I just randomly seem to get source crystals sometimes. Like, I would just go and be like, oh, I have 5,000 source crystals. What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, NRS.
They give them too for doing a lot of things for the first time in that game and like going through the tutorials and all of that sort of stuff is how you get like the free ones.
Right.
And every once in a while there'll be events like in the Multiverse, the Guild Multiverse, I think, but those were like really rare. Mm-hmm. That's how you bought like shaders that you didn't already own that you haven't unlocked. Yeah. And it's how you could do it to level characters, or you could do it to whatever they called it, transmogging.
You can get like the premium skins or whatever.
Right. Yeah, premium skins.
Which I actually found premium skins to be kind of interesting. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, that's a neat way to give. I mean, especially like how they did it with Raiden, where you have like a guest character that you could also just turn into another DC character. I mean, seems to be kind of like a cheapo way to do it, but I mean, they did it, I suppose. So
yeah, I think the only gripe I had was you couldn't like customize them though. Like they didn't have their own gear.
Right, like Power Girl was always.
And they didn't get any of their own they got their own lines, but not their own animations. So
yeah,
like, that's the first thing that stood out to me. Like when you have something like Flash and
still doing like fucking crazy like Chinese shit.
Well. Like, the reverse Flash is not going to, in between matches, fucking
get a hot dog. Yeah.
A hot dog and slurp on a soda and throw it out like a smartass or something. Like, that was very clear, very early, like, what we were going to be getting and what we weren't going to be getting, like, with those. I think that it was an interesting idea, but I don't think that, in my eyes, I don't think that was a huge success. I think they fell a little bit short.
It was their first time doing it, though, and that's the thing with NRS. Every game seems to be better in every aspect. So They definitely take what they did wrong, and they improve upon it.
I expect different. I think that's why everyone only has 3 gear pieces instead of 5, and the way they're going to manage that. That was a huge gripe for people in Injustice. Was inventory management and the time it took to go through loot boxes and all of that stuff. So I know certain people don't care about that parts of the game, but I think that's the kind of quality of life they're looking for when it's going to be coming to customization here.
It's a nice
which I'm excited for. I'm probably not going to do shit in this game. I'm going to have every intention of like hopping right into practice mode, and I know I'm going to spend like the first 3 hours just making loadouts, just playing dress up.
It's fun, man. Why not? They give you the tools. Go for it.
Dress up Scarlet.
Have you guys seen that picture of Scarlet with the longer hair? What do you guys think?
Yes, I like it.
Me too. I think it's really cool.
I'm a Scarlet fan anyway, and I think the black version looks better to me. Like with her loadout, that gives her the white gown, the white armor. It looks so good with that black fucking bob cut. I'm super happy with the way that character looks. And she keeps the short one. The short one's still going to be in the game, which I wonder how they'll cut, because that's not like an equipable gear piece, right? It'd have to be part of the skin. So
right.
Are you just going to have certain hair with certain armor? It's just a pairing that they're going to decide for you. Or is all of her gear going to be doubled so each one can have a version of the hair? I feel like that's something that they didn't premeditate. They didn't anticipate.
Right.
And then when a lot of people were complaining about her short hair, I liked her short hair. I'd be mad if they took it out, but I know a lot of people are like, ugh, you know, where's her long hair? And so they gave it. I hope they didn't do it at the expense of the other one. I think it'd be cool to have both as an option, but they definitely didn't plan for that in advance.
Seems to be the way they're going, so it's, yeah, I don't know. see what happens. More customizability. Customizability, is that a word? Did I just make
that
up?
I think so. Yeah.
It's fun. That's why I want to dress them up first. If I'm going to be staring at them for hours, I just want them to look good while they're doing it.
Yeah, you want them to look cool.
Yeah.
I was always like inspired when we be playing online and play another Firestorm. It's like, oh, that was way cooler than mine. Well, now I got to grind for gear to get that.
Dude, I was the opposite. Every time I go to range of him, I'm like, man, he looks like shit. Like, what were you thinking? You damn fool. You look awful.
What's wrong with your character, bro?
So,
Have some self-respect.
jeez, especially when you know there's some people that didn't even bother. They were just wearing the default stuff.
Yeah.
But there's some people that obviously tried and failed really bad. Super judgmental of people that are bad at creating cool loadouts.
Yeah.
Sandlock's one of them.
I help him.
Yeah,
He's getting better.
Looking at my Supergirl's like, hey, Supergirl's whack. I'm like, shut up. Bully.
He has good loadouts. Oh,
It is.
He's making fun of your loadouts. I see.
Yeah, mine. Making fun of my loadout.
Jeez. We'll have to a talk to that Psylocke.
Right.
I'll tell you what. So, back to the story, I guess. We kind of deviated a little bit. Raiden versus Raiden. Is that something we're going to see happen? Dark
Probably.
Raiden versus Light Raiden? Or
I feel like young Liu Kang and Revenant Liu Kang, and same with Kung Lao and Jade, I think they stand no chance trying to pull them back from that side. But I think Dark Raiden's he's obviously not a Revenant.
No, definitely not. He's just...
So he'll have a chance. Maybe he'll try to like reason with him or something, or warn him of the... Raiden really respects time. Maybe he doesn't give a fuck anymore. But, you know, it was all about time and the timelines, and I feel like a past version of himself before all this happened. He has to know this was all fucked up. This was all a mistake. It's all his fault. What does Raiden need to say to Dark Raiden? Like, yeah, dude, like, this is bad. This is your opportunity to make things right. Maybe he wants to do that. But we obviously see him with the special forces. Maybe he doesn't like Kronika's way of doing it, because that Elder God warns that if Kronika is successful, she's just going to wipe out everything. Both timelines are going to just... Everything will be gone, like wiped out of existence. So she's trying to like restart. She thinks like, oh, if Shinnok comes back, yeah, I'll just stick with this one, but I don't mind like restarting either. Or is she destroyed along with all of that too? Is that destroying like everything, period, including Elder Gods?
Yeah, I don't know. She's just like, you had one chance, you fucked it up, so sorry. Everything's gone now.
Maybe. So she could have like dual motivations, who knows? But that Elder God that's speaking, so I think this stems from, because she looked kind of like plant-based, right? Like she looked like she had leaves in her hair in that leak. And some of the leaks that describe her kind of describe her that way too. And her hair definitely looks like leaves, like when she's in Elder God status, like the translucent green. Her hair is like kind of like slicked back, but it looks like leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And Dink and I kind of talked about this the other day. Maybe she does sympathize with them. The way that Raiden rejected Elder God status, because you're not allowed to be an Elder God and interfere in human affairs, which is why it was such a big deal when Shao Kahn, when they intervened to kill Shao Kahn or capture him or whatever they ended up doing with him, that whole end of MK9.
Yeah, when they... I don't know.
Well, plus he broke the rules, like, yeah, he definitely broken some regulations.
So here's a question: do you think that that Dark Liu Kang might actually be able to coax Light Liu Kang to his cause? Because he's got to be pissed at Raiden. Because obviously Raiden fucked all this up, killed all his friends, then killed him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and Liu Kang's like, no, we have to do the right thing. And he's like, oh boy, let me tell you something.
Right. Like,
let me tell you what the right thing did.
Yeah. That's what happened last time he tried to do the right thing.
Let me just say, Raiden killed Liu Kang in self-defense.
It's more conflict on that side, right? Like, I've seen what you've done, Raiden. I've seen, when he's talking to Raiden, regular Raiden, not Dark Raiden, he goes back and's like, look at all this, and Raiden's like, you can't fucking blame me for something that hasn't happened yet. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then Dark Raiden comes. He's like, no, he's right. He did that.
He's right. Yeah.
So I don't know. so many mind games you could play with that and how it goes. Same with Katana too, I guess. But Katana wasn't as pissed because Liu Kang was like the last one to kind of be killed, right? And then,
Liu Kang, on accident, sort of.
Oh, yeah.
He did it to himself, really. People blame Raiden, but Raiden was a victim of circumstance. After all the other shit storm that he created, that's the only reason I would blame him, is because he created the whole situation. But it's not really his fault. He didn't do it maliciously.
No.
Like, he just doesn't know how to send himself an intelligible fucking message from the future.
So who sent him that message? Was that his future self, or was that...
It was, but like all it said was he must win. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Who's he?
He must win.
He thought it was Liu Kang, and then he was wrong, and then he thought it was Kung Lao, and got fucking Kung Lao killed. And that's when that was the point that everything started to change for Raiden. He would never be the same after that.
Everybody just died.
No one would ever look at him the same.
Nope. There's like 7 people just died all at once. Sub-Zero's a fucking robot for some reason. Like...
Dude, and all the convincing he had to do in like MKX.
Oh yeah.
All the splaining he had to do. Like, well, how could I ever trust you again? You fucked this all up to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's what kind of forced him into the Dark Raiden thing. That was probably a big part of it, right? Like, yeah, I'm a fucking pushover. I don't do shit. I'm tired of reacting.
Right.
I see that you're a threat. It's pretty clear you are. There's no laws here. There's no Geneva Convention. If I feel legitimately threatened by you, I'm just going to attack first, just like you do to us. So, whatever.
Yeah.
But now he's crazy. I pushed him over the edge.
Yeah, he's like going all fucking Alex Jones and shit.
So
Raiden Alex Jones.
Remember when we pointed out in that prologue story, we kind of discussed how cool it was that he was actually making constructs with his lightning. He conjured that blade like he was a Red Lantern or something and decapitated Shinnok. And then you see it again in the story trailer. Like when he's wielding Shinnok's amulet, that first looks like a spider web of like strikes looks to be coming from the amulet, and the rest is him like totally wielding these lightning swords, just slicing the fuck out of some demons. Awesome. And then his second fatality that was floating around Twitter has him using it as well. I'm glad that they're at least showing it in that capacity. I don't
I'm surprised
see it in his gameplay.
I was going to say he didn't have it in his moveset at all. Like, that's such a missed opportunity, I feel.
Yeah. Especially for, like, I don't think it's in his fatal blow. I feel like that would be a missed opportunity. But then he's just stabbing people like everybody else. Like, we're out of ideas for crafty ways to stab people.
He's basically be like Scarlet.
She's like, lightning. No one else has lightning. Let's just do something with that.
Yeah. He should use thunder a little bit, so that he can, like maybe rumble them to death or something.
He's a thunder god. He's got the little thunder cloud ability.
Yeah, that's true.
Little rolling cloud. Looks a little cheesy to me. Yeah, but I like the idea of it. I'm a big fan of damage over time stuff.
Me too. I love setups and all that kind of thing. It's just so fun. That's why I like Master of Storms. He was so fun.
Yeah, you were a real dick with Master of Storms.
I really was. I really, really was. Still would be, actually. Because the game's still available to be played.
Oh, this is true. And they haven't pulled it from the PSN store.
No, sadly not. So what's left to talk about the story? Did we touch on everything that we wanted to?
I think
so.
Any characters? Like we kind of mentioned Aaron Black was in. Did you have any thoughts about his design? They showed his fatal blow as well.
Some of these characters I'd like to see before they kind of found their way to where they did. Like, I'd like to see Aaron Black before he went to Outworld. I'd like to know a bit about Cabal before he joined the Black Dragon. I don't think we will.
Yeah.
We do get to see apparently young Cabal from what they showed on the reveal stream. But I don't know. Those are my wish list, of like more backstories to these characters, because Aaron Black was a really cool character, and now I'm kind of invested in him, and I want to see a little bit more his past, right?
Right.
That being said, I'm sure there's information. People, oh, you just read the comics, you fucking idiot. But sorry, I want to see a little bit of it in the game that I play. Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid.
Yeah, heaven forbid.
No. And when I saw that fatal blow come on, and I was like, oh my god, if he ricochets bullets off of coins, and then it happened, and that is something I read in a leak like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I'm so used to dismissing them, just kind of looking past them. They all kind of like blur together. I can't even keep track of what's what anymore. But right. I definitely read that. So whatever leak that's attached to probably has some other credibility if the resources haven't already been exhausted from everything else we've seen.
Like leaks come out and then either debunked or they're proven, but I never go back and look at them again to that whole leak just to see what what else was on there that I might have missed.
There's just so many floating around. Some legit, some not, but it's like unless you're paying super close attention, and I'm paying as much as I care to stuff like that.
Right.
Like it's just out of my hand. I can't even keep track anymore since that last just big one with all the images. Right.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
I think one thing I am glad though is that despite that recent leak, there's still stuff that we can still see and get excited about.
Yeah, when you see it in action and stuff like that, like it's just a picture. It's a shitty picture at that. Like
very shitty.
Look at the difference from that HD render they gave us of Kano, and like compared to seeing him in action this week. Yeah. Like it's just you can't get anything from an image, let alone. Like, fine, like, it's the idea of it. It's like, now I know that this person's in here, which makes me feel left out because the character that I didn't want in there, fuck Jacqui, fuck Frost. My character should have been in the game. It's like, caused all this weird fucking tension on forums and shit like that, and people sticking up for the characters in the roster and trying to, like, it's more of like an acceptance, right? They're making a cool game. I'm going to play the game. Like, yeah. I have my own opinions on the roster, and just some people that are just going crazy about it. Just it seems like no effort to find something shitty to say about anything anybody else thinks is cool. There's a lot of people that are happy with what we saw. We feel like sated, right? Like we've been so. Do you think that the leak had any? Do you think they planned on releasing this story trailer on this day, or do you think they released it sooner than they were planning on as kind of like damage control, right? Like they already fucking know. Let's just let them see.
Part of me feels like it was a reaction. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Cheryl.
No, it's cool.
I think that they kind of panicked a bit. Like, I don't think that combat cast was really scheduled because they didn't announce it until a day beforehand, which seems very out of character for them. Usually, they kind of give you some time. So I think they kind of panicked a bit and dealt with whatever the issue was there, and then we're kind of like, okay, well, we got to do something.
Yep. So it's the first time they've shown us 2 brand new characters. So people have been crying for that, right? We get 1 combat cast a week. Like they're paying attention,
right?
And I think that's one of the things. What can we do to make these people happy? We're going to give them the story trailer. We're going to do a combat cast that we were planning on doing one, probably just Kano, right? And then just some of the stuff that they do after the fact. Like the stream went like almost a half an hour longer than it normally does, and they didn't even do washed up warriors or anything. That's how much they put in there. 2 new character breakdowns, plus they did the whole fatality breakdown sort of thing, like trying to like really try to really fill it with content and things that people have been asking for, and people have been. The idea of bringing somebody on to talk about the process of fatality was, I've been seeing that floating around Twitter for. Since the reveal, like that would be an eventuality. I wonder if they moved that up to like include that with like the next immediate combat cast.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them do a combat cast about the story, but I don't know.
I bet they will.
I think
they did for Injustice.
Yeah,
but they had a lot more time with Injustice. We're pretty close to release. It's next month.
That's crazy to me, man. Like
we have a month and a half. We've only known about it since December. And Mortal Kombat 11 is coming out in a month and a half. That blows my mind.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's just so much information in such little time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, I feel like we're not getting enough information.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's a story trailer that just blows your mind. It's so much to think about. Like, we've been so starved for, like, anything, right? Like, trying to grasp onto like any new piece of information, all of a sudden they drop a story trailer on your head. It's like, okay, well, there's like 10,000 things to think about. Like this will keep us busy for a while.
Right.
Like that's kind of also why I think that they revealed the story trailer like already as a reactionary thing.
I agree.
Like, okay, well, we were gonna just like you know,
we were saving it for this.
Out, but
fuck
it. Everybody seems to know now. I may as well just show them. You know, and even in the combat
people
cast,
what they want.
They even like you could tell they acknowledged about the leaks. I forgot exactly what the little snide comment they made, but like you knew that they were aware. They knew about it. Yeah, they're totally aware.
There's no way they don't. I see 16-bit talking on Test Your Might forums still, like sometimes. Like they see, they know, they're paying attention.
Like they can't
just because they're not addressing you directly. They're definitely seeing what you're saying.
I actually went through all of their Twitter accounts. Well, not all of them, but like some of the top guys, and no one said anything publicly on Twitter about it that I could find, anyways. So
because if they do, then it's confirmation whether it's real or not, and we already know that it pretty much is. But they were going to tell us they were taking that control back. Okay, we're going to tell you our way, like given the circumstances, given what's at our disposal. This is what we think is the best choice, and I think it was the best choice.
Totally, yeah, I agree. Because like, there's no official confirmation, so you know, it's still as unlikely as it probably is. It is still the possibility that might not be the case, right?
Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, it did come out like it wasn't directly after, right? It was like 4 or 5 days or a week or however long it was, and maybe that's how long it took them to like rush, like finish the editing and stuff like that. Just let's get this thing wrapped up.
Yeah, totally. So,
and it's not just the time spent on doing that; it's taking people off of other stuff. They're up against a deadline, right? They got people working all sorts of shit. Oh, now we got to focus on the story trailer and trying to get all that lined up. That's my headcanon.
Makes sense.
If I guess right, I am a god.
Okay, so that being said, did we cover everything we wanted to cover today?
I think I know you posted up your talking points.
Yeah, I think we went through all my talking points already.
Yeah, pretty much.
That
was a good chunk of it.
Is that closing thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to give an opportunity because the chat has been pretty active, and I wanted to really stay focused on what, what we were talking about. So I want to give this opportunity for the next, I don't know, it's like 10 minutes or so. If anyone's there in the chat, in the live chat here on YouTube live stream, if you want to post a question or something you had for us, or something that any of us really, or all three of us, who knows? We could three-way that shit, and just
whoa.
Just a question about anything to do with MK11 or what's happened. Maybe we could do like a quick Q&A before we go. And in case there is no questions, just to keep us around, I did want to talk a little bit about the stages. Have you guys noticed? I think there was a couple new stages that were shown in the story trailer. That's there's one of Kronika's lair thing with like the little white deers?
I don't think those were revealed. We didn't see any in-game play footage. Are you talking about the story trailer?
Yeah,
I think the fatal blows and the fatality
was still on the regular trailers or stages.
Regular stages.
We did get the there was a new stage revealed, I feel like.
I think. Well, I know I've never seen before the story trailer that little Kronika's lair thing, but there was no gameplay there. So
no, I hope that
it's such a cool.
Thinking of my tweet, I thought it's like, and I've heard a lot of people talk about it too. I hope that's a stage. That would be a cool like infinity stage, like Tekken has for like practice mode. It may not have enough detail or pizzazz to be like a regular level, but that should be like a training mode option. Like we had the training room in MKX, but like other games like Street Fighter or Dead or Alive or whatever kind of give you almost those grid rooms, those default practice rooms. That should be the default practice room.
Could be one of those. So we got a question here. Casey provided says, "How do you feel about the game speed?" Actually, speed at which the game is played. I'm assuming is what he means, because it's obviously a lot slower than MKX.
Yeah.
I am an old man with old man reactions. You make that shit as slow as you want.
I like that. Shiro, what are your thoughts on it? Because it seems to be, I don't know, because you've played both MKX and Injustice 2, so you'd have an idea of, the contrast and speeds there, and which one do you prefer, I hope.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it, because one thing that really kind of gets to me in MKX is trying to do like those run cancels, and yeah, it does kind of get annoying when someone just constantly rushes up to you and it's just like, all right, is it going to be a low? Is it going to be a high or a low? So I do kind of like that this one seems it's going to focus more around footsies and spacing and stuff like that. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of at same as Shiro here, and a hater. You know, like even though I still compete and stuff, the more tournaments I go to these days, the more I realize I have to rely on experience and reaction and less, or experience and reads, less on reaction. So slowing it down and making it a little bit more, like footsies based, spacing based, like that's just so much more rewarding to me. You know, like I blast through a couple of games of MKX with Raiden, and I just beat people because they guessed wrong. It passes the time, but it's not rewarding. When I like outspace someone, like I had my Liu Kang video I put out yesterday, and I was outspacing the shit out of people, and I was feeling myself so hard because like, yeah, my spacing's so good, and like that's such like a rewarding feeling, as opposed to just like, oh, guess again, bro. Hey, haha, I'm so good. So it's like, I don't know, it rewards something that takes a little bit more time to really, I don't know, build up, I suppose.
Yeah.
We got another question here from the Bossinator, or HH the Bossinator H. I think that's like, is that like a meme? Like instead of the XX, it's the HH. I like that. That's
no
pretty clever.
idea.
How do you think pressure will work, and do you think there will be pressure? Do you think there will be some plus frames in MK11, maybe toned down a little to decrease pressure? That's an interesting question.
I think there'll be plus frames, and I bet they'll mainly be used for like staggers and things like that. I don't think they'll be as crazy. Like they'll be low plus, but I bet they'll be plus for sure.
I mean, it is a fighting game.
Yeah, most fighting games
right.
do have plus frames.
But I think people are afraid of it being like a, I mean, at its core, fighting games, right? It's your turn. You know when it's your turn, you know when it's their turn. And then the mind games, if they're going to take it, if they know the matchup, are they going to take their turn or am I going to steal it back, like sort of thing. I think people are afraid of it just being like back and forth, just like chess, right? Oh, I did something, it didn't work. And now I'm negative, or I'm barely safe or something like that. Yeah. Now I just have to hold whatever you're going to do, and it's just going to be this game of like, which can be fun. Like when you're trying to open somebody up, and then you just decide to respect what they're going to do, and then they try to open you up, and it doesn't work, and it just kind of goes. That's amusing sometimes. Like that has its time and place in certain matchups, but I want the whole game to be that way. There's got to be shenanigans and mind games, like ways around that, right? Trying to bait people. Whether it's just walking backwards a little bit, whether it's like some sort of late special cancel, late amplification, or whatever that baits somebody into like hitting a button and they get punished for it, things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, if I had to guess, it's hard to say because I really didn't look at much frame data when I was at the reveal. I just went in quickly to look at some special moves and see how they look. It seems like maybe if you amplify your moves is where you're going to get your plus frames, but maybe they go more towards like an Oki kind of thing where like you get the knockdown with the setup and that's your plus frames. And then what do you do off of that?
That's your hit advantage. Your hit advantage isn't on block, it's on knockdown.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you have someone in the corner and you've cornered them and you don't have plus frames, so you wait and you outspace them or try and bait an attack, then you knock them down and there's your plus frames and there's your opportunity to go for something. If I had to guess, that might be, because then you have the three-way guess of roll, launcher, or just like a get off me move as their wake up.
Well, it's a four-way, so you got. I'm pretty sure there's a delayed wake up. Then you've got the roll forward, the roll backwards, both of which are invincible to everything except for throws. And then you've got the up 2 and the up 3. One is safe but not invincible. The other is invincible. Oh wait, is that wrong? One of them launches and is unsafe, but is also and then the other one's invincible, and you can't combo off of it, and it's safe. Yeah, I think invincible and safe would be too strong.
Yeah, no.
I think I'm fucked up. I'm pretty sure it's the launching one that has invincibility, but that sounds wrong when I say it out loud.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it again. question about the collector. I think we talked about the collector already. I actually would like toyed with the idea of maybe trying the collector. The 4 arms thing really throws me off. I don't know why. That aesthetic I just don't care for.
Yeah.
I want to see how he uses them. If it's like General Grievous style or something. Yeah, I don't want him just so I can punch with 4 fists instead of 2. But he doesn't look like he's gonna be like getting in fist fights and stuff. I'm interested to see his toolkit, how he's gonna use those extra limbs. I don't expect anything like Shiva or Goro or any other multi-armed character that we've seen in this game. Because they're like I said earlier, the arms are in a different position. Both of them are coming from like the shoulder area. It's not like one on top of the other, like the Shokan. So I wonder if it's like a cousin species or something, or if it's a corrupted Shokan that's kind of become deformed over time.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he's evil.
Because there's not too many of those guys left, is there? Like there was Goro, Kataro, Shiva.
Shao Kahn has a relationship with the Shokan, and with what happened with Kotal Kahn and shit. Right, and what happened with them and Kotal Kahn and all that stuff in the comics, if they're considering that.
Yeah.
It'd probably be an easy choice to align with Shao Kahn. Get things back to the way they were before the meddling Earthrealm kids.
Make Outworld great again.
Yes. Part of that campaign.
Jeez.
Let's see. I heard in the Cassie stream that she doesn't have any overhead starters other than the universal ones. If that's true, how competitive do you think she looks thus far getting your hands on her? That's a good question.
I missed that whole thing. Okay. You're cutting out. Was that just me, Shiro?
Yeah, he was cutting out a lot. But I saw like the thing he was reading. So
I'll read it again for the people watching the VOD. I heard in the Cassie stream that she doesn't have any overhead starters other than the universal ones. If that's true, how competitive do you think she looks thus far before getting your hands on her? Was that clear? Did I nail that? 10 out of 10?
Yeah. Sound good. We talked about that a little bit earlier, right? When we were going over her breakdown trailer.
So you're not going to be able to start a combo with it, but she's going to have overhead.
She doesn't have a 50-50. I think she's got they said that she had a fake overhead. Mm-hmm. It was a real overhead, but it wasn't a real mix because it's like later on in a string.
Right.
So you can't just duck. You have to be kind of worried about something. And it might be a conditioning tool, right? If you get sick of taking the overhead and then she cancels into the low shot or something.
Right.
And you don't fuzzy it right, and then you get launched for a combo.
So the mix-up's going to be in the string, not right at the beginning.
Right. Or she's going to have to make use of short hops or that grapple move for that quick jump in, it looked like, that they showed. But that was like an equipable ability, right? Not default.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's just got to kill you 15% at a time. Just they called her a jack of all trades. Like, she's really good at a lot of things, but she doesn't really excel at anything. She's not a big combo character. She's going to getting small conversions, but she's got a lot of ways to kind of like just chip away at you.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true. So I think she could still be competitive. Like, I see her like, which is kind of hilarious now I think about it, but kind of like the Supergirl of the game, you know? Like, right? Like she can do everything like pretty good, but like not excellent. And that's exactly what Supergirl was like, which is kind of funny.
So that means she's gonna become the Scrub Buster, and then she's gonna fucking get nerfed because people don't want to lab the matchup.
But that's the thing, like I was saying earlier,
getting PTSD.
NRS gets better at everything they do every single game, so maybe she'll actually be a legitimate Supergirl this time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Side note, I have my Xbox in rest mode off to the side, and it's giving me like how to do all the rare achievements on MKX, and some of them are pretty funny. Like, don't perform a combo with more than 4 hits with Boraicho and win a ranked match. And
what is an X?
Oh, because he's got all those multi-hits in his strings.
Yeah.
So you have to just like poke them to death and kill them with specials or something?
Yeah, the achievement's called Lansdowne. Kind of funny. Oh, man.
That's super funny. What a riff on him.
Totally right. Like, this is how you win a match.
One of the devs I saw talking about one of the towers, so he complains about all the really annoying ones like I do. The ones that tilt you or you lose control of your character or blacks out. He calls it like narcolepsy inducing. Like all those super annoying modifiers. Like some are okay, like dodging missiles and stuff, but the ones that like turn off your screen or turn it upside down or whatever. And he complained about them constantly, and Derek Kurtzig made a custom tower that apparently is in rotation, named after him, called like his torture or his fear or something like that, and just turned them all into one tower.
Oh man, I gotta admit I hate those two. That's Oh hey, we got a donation on the stream. Shout outs to that. Andy Shredder Man. I hope they make some fun trap. Hope they make some trap setup characters. The creativity is so much fun. Oh, thanks for that, man. I really appreciate that. I hope
it is, man. I love as a spectator. I'm not super good at it. I can do like really basic setup stuff, but not really my forte when it comes to characters. But as a spectator, I love watching it. It's like some of my favorite sort of like fights to watch are people that are really good with setup characters.
It's so cool to see some. Yeah, like watching Sonic Fox play some of that Captain Cold shit back in Injustice 2. Like, holy crap. Yeah. So satisfying.
Like, hey George playing any character.
Oh, Hey George makes any character look amazing.
Dude, like, yeah. He's really good.
Yeah, I
like the way he plays. He's very creative, very expressive. I wonder what his opinions are about the new combo system, or maybe lack of setups. We've seen a few. Look like Cassie Cage had maybe some setup abilities.
Yeah, we'll see with her drone and stuff like that. What she can come up with. Kano so far has looked like the biggest like setup trap character to me.
I feel like you're gonna have to be so aware of your opponent's bars at all time to know whether they have the invincible wake up option or not. Like really keep people honest.
Totally.
Things like that'll play into like setups, right? Like that'll be an extra condition. Like, this might be something that they could just wake up through invincibly and punish me for, but if they don't have the bar to do it, and I know that you don't, then you go for the setup.
Totally. I accidentally just turned my stream to the wrong fucking thing.
Was it a nudity?
No. I forget that I have, like, my XSplit, like, I have hotkeys, so whenever I use the number pad, it actually, like, if I press 4, it goes to scene 4. If it goes to 3 goes to scene 3. I have to turn that off. I didn't actually. My old mechanical keyboard that used to drive Hater nuts didn't actually have a number pad, and I was totally fine with it because I didn't use it for anything. But then I got a new keyboard, and now it has that again. And then now I was just reminded, hey, you got to turn that off. So, anyways, I think that's it. We answered some questions. We had some good gaffes. Went for about an hour and a half. We were doing previously that we were going to do like an hour stream and then an hour for the Patreons, but it seemed that people didn't really want to watch the extra hour so much on Patreon. So we're gonna come up with a different system where maybe they can come in mid podcast and ask some questions on stuff. So I'll make an official announcement on that when I have all the details and everything's ready to set up on that. But. Oh. Yeah, something interesting. New things are coming. That stupid $5 tier. I haven't found something that's, good that everybody wants. I keep refreshing it. I don't know.
Mm. What was it? What was it originally?
It was originally that you got like extra videos during the week, but then I found that like making daily videos in addition to more videos, and then with everything else that's going on in my life, I kept disappointing more than I was delivering. So. Then I changed it to an extra hour of the podcast. And that's been going okay, but I mean, we get like 7 views, so it's like, nah, people really that interested in it, so we'll,
and then your 10 is that you get to join events. It's pretty good. That's usually the cost of most local tournaments anyways.
Yeah.
At least where I'm at, like 5 for venue, 5 for the actual game.
Right.
Well, this last Bonehawk League that we did for MKX was, we had like a lot of people sign up at the $10 tier, and a lot of them are still, they were enjoying the Discord. They're like becoming part of the community more, which is really cool. So you sign up for a tournament, because I saw a lot of people saying, well, $10 for an online tournament, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, you get so much more than that, when you actually get into it. But
yeah,
it's it's hard until you actually get in there, but I don't know. Maybe I'm preaching the choir. If you guys out there in YouTube world, what would you be interested in? If I said, join my $5 Patreon, and you were like, why should I do that? What would convince you to do it? What would you get from me? That's putting that out there, getting some suggestions,
$5.
Yeah.
You get you get Dink's secret spaghetti and meatballs recipe.
Oh boy.
Oh, if you wake up tomorrow and on my Patreon making spaghetti and meatballs,
I'd buy that for $5.
So, oh man,
It's like, impress your loved ones. You like the spaghetti? It costs $5.
Before you sign up, I will mail you the spaghetti so that you can try this.
I'll mail you the spaghetti first.
Oh, you include materials with that $5?
Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna
Damn.
the $5 tier. It's like Dink's version of Blue Apron, except he only gives you materials for spaghetti.
Like a loot box, except every month is spaghetti.
Yeah.
Everything's spaghetti.
Your local grocery store will be like, "You're buying more spaghetti again?"
What are you doing with all this spaghetti, man? Oh shit! All right, this is why we see it's a second hour for the podcast after dark. Oh shit!
After dark.
Oh man! All right.
Spaghetti with dink balls. Wait, no,
Oh no!
no. I made a mistake on the recipe.
Sent out a mass message. So if you receive this batch of spaghetti sauce is now being recalled, please return it. It does not contain the right ingredients.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, we're gonna end the podcast here. Thank you guys for coming out on YouTube. I think we might do it here from now on. Seem to get a bigger crowd, and actually a lot more people that seem to be more engaged with what we were talking about throughout. So, I'm sorry that we didn't involve the chat within the podcast as much. Maybe next time we could do like a pit stop kind of thing where like every 15, 20 minutes we check the chat or go some, I don't know. Just throwing ideas. Talk about that afterwards. But yeah, sure. And if you're watching this on YouTube, as always, leave a like because it helps me out, and subscribe because we make videos every single day and we do podcasts kind of whenever there's shit to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag Bonehawks and all that stuff. And we'll see all you guys in the next video.